Yes, let's talk about sex. I guess, coworkers already
Hello.
talked about sex.
Hey, coworkers.
Hi, coworkers. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Since Zoom will not let us be great, we are going to go ahead and pre-record.
And be great. We're going to go ahead and be great since Zoom won't let us be great.
And we're going to pre-record the show and post it after we're done. And we hate it because we always love your participation. So,
dang, I'm saying I just realized that I'm not going to be able to read comments. Like I could.
No comment.
So we want to welcome you to Business and Bullshit. 3 women,
3 perspectives.
1 podcast.
So today's show is Let's Talk About Sex. So this is going to be a very PGG version because we were trying to see how y'all was going to act before we got into deeper topics. But I still think that you will like the questions. But before we begin,
is that time. It is time to hear from our elders, our ancestors, and take church announcements.
Absolutely.
Anyone have any church announcements? I will say that, I just want to give a shout out to Meg Thee Stallion for allowing me to be seen. My entire, the youth, it was always like Beyonce, like Trina, but like you ain't want to be, you just want to be me. And then Meg gave us that. So now it's like Beyonce, like me. And I feel special. It's me. It's not Trina.
You feel seen.
Mm-hmm. Any other church announcements? Anything from the mother's board? What about from the deacon's row? Anything from the deacon's row? Does the ushers have anything to say?
I went to go see my mama today. And my mom has really been disappointing me in life because I didn't realize that my mama watched the stories.
Not the stories.
That was disappointment number 1. So I'm thinking maybe, because I don't really know what's on daytime TV because I have a whole job. So I was thinking maybe, it wasn't anything else available on television. So she, because my mama, she's semi-grandmama, semi-high girl. So we don't know, she could be on a trip somewhere or she could be at the house sewing. I never know. Until she sends me a picture on the beach or something.
Right.
So I'm thinking she watches the story as a backdrop to her sewing everybody's kid, grandkid a quilt. No, she actually watches the story. But that, it's layered because it's levels to this with Dorothy Mae. And so not only does she watch the stories, she gets upset every single day when the governor interrupts her to give us an update on Roro.
She said, "Don't preempt my soaps."
Or it's more like my soaps are changing. This press conference the same every day. I don't understand why we keep having to do this.
I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. I can't even get to her. I mean, when I tell you she's upset, every day she yells at the TV. Every day. I'm not even over there every day, but sometimes I call and check on her. So that's really all that's going on with my mama from the mother's board.
Listen. My mother still is not a fan, of the exclamation point, but she will be okay.
I don't think my mom watches. She be chilling in her own little corner. So
sadly, I think that, my mother may actually watch this one if we actually have the word sex on the title. And now I just feel like I should put on
No, you're Megan. You're Megan. Remember, Megan said you could be seen.
I said G. I said PGG because first of all, we have to make sure we're comfortable with these questions.
Right.
So if there's not any more church announcements, I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions.
All right.
Are you ready?
We'll find out.
Listen.
What is your first memory surrounding sex?
Soap operas. I'll be honest. Like my mom or somebody watching it, and my face would get covered when certain scenes would come on. Like they cover your eyes. They'd be like, "Cover your eyes. You can't watch this." So I think that's like my first memory around.
What was they showing on daytime TV in the 80s and the early 90s?
Oh, honey, it got old.
I mean, it's not Telenova. I mean, what the heck? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So late, I was young, I can remember, and I was in the front room watching TV. It was late one night, like this is around the time when TV used to go off. You know what I'm saying? So this was right before TV was going off, and there was this. You remember when HBO used to give you like a free, couple of days or whatever? So it's one of those times, and I remember seeing this naked woman, and then there was this naked man, and it looked scary. But at that moment, my mother came in and freaked out that I was watching naked people on the TV, and I just remember her being very disappointed by this situation.
So
because I don't think I realized there was anything wrong, or you know what I'm saying, or like to me, I didn't realize what was happening. I was like, those are parts. You know what I'm saying? Like, right, because they weren't having sex, but I just remember the way she reacted made me go, something about this is wrong.
I think my earliest memory was in elementary school when they teach you sex education. So of course they separate the boys from the girls, and I was just like, this is weird. And we got the school nurse who was probably, I don't know how old she literally was, but she had gray hair and she appeared to be, this one could have been in her 30s for all I knew. But she looked like she was probably late 50s, early 60s in my adolescent mind. So for those who don't know me, I went to a predominantly Black lower socioeconomic school, which was probably about 3 blocks from the housing projects. So just imagine the demographic. I didn't grow up in the projects, but so it was like a spectrum. So they taught us about, body parts. They had a conversation about sex. And so I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about. And so I'm not sure what grade I was in, but this is like, I think it was when the AIDS epidemic was happening. And so they discussed STDs. Still don't know what the hell an STD was, but because I really want to say I was like in 2nd or 3rd grade. And so they said something to the extent of only men who have sex with other men get AIDS, but they can transfer it to women. So I was like, how do men have sex?
Of course you were. Of course you did.
So Southern Missionary Baptist in church 2 to 3 times a week. So the school nurse, I remember her face. In hindsight, I'm like, she was trying to figure out how to freak to answer this question. But in the moment, I'm like, why isn't she saying anything? Why is she not responding to my question? I need answers. So as I sat there, my mind started reviewing what had been taught to me about body parts, etc. And I was like, oh.
I'll get out the camera.
And then she was like, yeah. And I was like, wait. Like, I was just so confused. And I didn't think it was anything wrong, but it just never dawned on me. 2 men having sex. So I want to say that was probably my earliest memory.
It just made me think about
education class.
I remember, like, when you were saying, it made me think about these teachers one time. I heard them talking about, like, they were talking Bible stuff and about the earth being repopulated. And I remember them deciding that there had to be some incestuous stuff going on. But, like, I just remember thinking, even though I didn't know what they were talking about, like, I was leaning in because they were, like, huddled together. And, it just looked like it was probably juicy, I guess.
So it's interesting because I think that we all had different, so I had a confusion experience. Isis had a censored experience, and you had, I would say, would be kind of a negative experience because you didn't know what the heck was going on. So, what are some of the things that you were told growing up or initially thought about sex that you later found were false or unrealistic?
Oh, Amber, go first because let me log this baby in. Hey, coworkers, my
That,
nephew.
hey,
Trying
and
to
that's
see.
why this is an authentic space, because that's the type of stuff that happens, just as Black women, you got to play multi roles at many times. So, you know what? I grew up very religious, if you will, and whether you believe that as you get older, I think that there was this part they kept saying that if you have sex with people, your soul is attached to them forever. Like as a part of you, that's, you know what I'm saying? And so like whether as an adult, I look at that completely different than I did. But I think at the time I thought, well, I can't be having sex because I just don't want my soul to be, empty. I don't want to just give my soul to folks. I'm just walking around like a shell because I had the relations. So I mean, I do believe that there's an attachment, but you know what I mean? Like they were, yeah.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. Can you repeat the question, Dree?
Sure. What are things that you were told growing up or initially thought about sex that you later found were false or unrealistic?
So, kind of like Amber, came up in the church. My grandfather is a preacher, all of that. So I was taught, sex is strictly for a marriage. I was taught that Black girls didn't do these things because if you did, then you were seen as a
That,
hoe.
that,
Your value lied in whether or not you got chose. And so it was negative. I will be very honest. And oh man, but that religious foundation said it. I'm trying to think of the words here because it's coming to me. I was also a part of a whole lot of ministries in church for young girls. And I remember we had like this whole retreat where
all about purity.
all about purity. Yeah, what Amber said. We were in the same thing, but they never gave us, there was never a healthy sexual talk. Nobody ever talked about, ovulation or, this is the healthy part of sex. It was more so, don't do it till you get married.
The abstinence, that's it.
It was abstinence only. There was no in-depth conversation, nothing about orgasms or, it being a positive experience, getting to know your body. It was, your body is not your own. It means nothing until a man chooses you, and then your body is for him only. So those are the messages I received growing up.
So I think that those messages were also thrown at me, but I was okay. So I was still on fast. So when people were talking about sex and babies, I'm still on fast. Like I'm still on this level regarding sex. Like I'm trying to make sure can't nobody see my booty, can't nobody see my boobies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I showing too much shoulder? Like I'm still on fast. I didn't like my mind wasn't.
Because you didn't want to be labeled fast.
I don't right, and it wasn't even like. It may be kissing. Like that probably was my like same expectation level of sex. Like I don't know if I want to kiss you because I don't know if I like you. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine how many people you ain't really felt in your X number of years and be on this earth that you kissed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, kissing was, this is when you have a boyfriend. I'm saying this as like a 12, 13, 14-year-old, not like an 8, 9, so I'm pretty up there. I mean, I wasn't old, but most people, losing their virginity at a young age. So that was kind of like my thing. I think mine more was, I thought when I had sex, it would be like that scene in Love and Basketball.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking it was going to be somebody.
Or just any scene that they fed us. Any of them.
Red Shoe Diaries. Come on.
Not really Red Shoe. I don't
Not
really.
really.
I know I watched it, but I don't even remember. But
You could have given me the wood. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember the movie The Wood? I'm just saying, like all the.
That's pretty much how it happened, though, in the wood. But I was so, and I don't even want to say I was delayed because I still had sex at and I say unfortunately because I feel like I regretted my first time. But yeah, that's kind of what it was. What was unrealistic expectation. And like I said, with the whole purity thing, like I said, that messaging was to me, but I just always felt like even if I had sex before marriage, I was gonna always have sex with my husband, if that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So even though pretty much everybody's relationship around me was dysfunctional, I was still like, okay, I'm gonna meet my love of my life at 16, 17 years old. We probably ain't gonna get married to 22, 23, 24, but we're gonna be in each other's lives that long because my parents, they came from a small country town and they grew up together. They didn't date, but they grew up together. You know what I'm saying? So I had that ideology, and everybody around me, all my cousins and their spouses, all came from this little small country town. That's kind of how it happened. So I had a lot of unrealistic false expectations growing up.
Gotcha. And I think it happens to a lot of us. We use our parents as that, as that example, but I don't think we understand the dynamics in which some of them grew up. So like you just stated, your parents grew up in a small town, and ended up together versus, we grew up in a not so, big.
It's small.
It's a big small town is what I call it. Yeah. And so I think you have to, later on you realize, oh, well, I might not can measure dating and marrying in Little Rock like I can in Hope, Arkansas, so I think that does impact us a lot. And when it doesn't happen like our parents, we're like, oh crap, what do I do now? And you have to go back and refocus and come at it from a different angle.
I think that when you asked me the first two questions, though, I didn't at all think about the messaging I received from my parents. I mean, for me, I was just gave society kind of thing, except for when Mama freaked out about the woman with titties on the TV. But like, as I got older, and I mean, even in my teens, my mother and father, they would talk to my sister and I, like, in fact, even now, I think that sometimes we're too close and say things that we, should not. But like, our sexuality was never one tantamount to like who you are as a whole woman. It was talked about as a part of you. And it was always, I don't care like who you bring home. Like, even if you were like we weren't gay, or even before we had a chance, if you will, if we're going to be gay, say we were gay at a very early age, it was, I don't care who you love, that doesn't matter. My dad was always just very affirming, I guess, like that.
That's a blessing.
That leads to my next question. How was sex and relationships packaged from your parents? So Amber kind of basically answered that question.
You didn't say relationships. I answered sex.
So we'll go ahead with relationships.
No. So my parents went to the same college, and then they got out of college for like a couple of months, and they started dating. They dated 7 months, and then they got married, and they've been together for the past, whatever many years. So my idea of what a relationship was supposed to be, or, how it's supposed to happen to me, was this fairy tale, and it was matched Drumline. It matched Love and Basketball. It met, what I'm saying? Like, cause that was my whatever. And when that did not turn out to be my reality, which I started out searching for every time. I always wanted the storybook like that. If there was a backstory, all that. Like my son's father and I, we went to elementary together. Like there's a backstory. You know what I'm saying? I think so. My idea was skewed, I guess, when it comes to relationships because of the fairy tale.
I was gonna say, repeat the question, Dree.
I didn't write that one down because it just happened.
The messaging of sex and relationships from your parents.
How was that packaged?
Oh, again, church. I'm very heavily raised in the Black Baptist church, but my parents divorced when I was around 9 or 10. And so for me, again, a lot of my messaging came from the, church groups. My mother didn't really have a.
In all fairness, a lot of my messaging came from her mama too. Because Miss Teddy would tell you not to have sex.
Yes. So, again, that messaging, she really didn't talk to us. It was, it was abstinence only. Don't get pregnant. Mm-hmm. If you feel like you want to have sex, we'll go and get you on birth control. And that was, pretty much it. And so my escape was looking at other couples that I went to church with and when I attended weddings, getting caught up in the fairy tale, you know, especially I was still a big Disney fanatic.
Mm.
And so as Amber stated, I wanted the backstory, you know, so I thought I was gonna marry high school sweetheart and, you know, and if it didn't happen that way, I was gonna go to college and get, you know, one degree and my MRS degree. And, you know,
Right.
I was gonna get married out of college, you know, I was supposed to be married by 25, 26. And then, you know, I was gonna have sex for the first time and then have the baby. And, you know, that's how it was gonna happen. It didn't happen that way. So but that's how it was packaged. You wait until marriage. You don't want a soul tie. And then, of course, you don't want to be labeled as a hoe because Black girls get labeled as hoes, white girls don't. So that's the packaging.
There's that.
So I think I had multiple movies, if you would say, that went on. So I had the people in church who had been married X number of years, probably the same at that period of time, the same length of time as my parents. And I attended. I really want to say the name because I have a little title for it, but I don't want to be airing everybody's business at the church. But I felt like, and this may or may not be true, but I always felt like growing up that all men cheated on their wives.
Mm.
Kind of like what the rhetoric of you're supposed to go through all of this emotional labor, and then when you get about your 20-year mark, then he realizes he's a godly man and he's this amazing person, right? So that was the imagery, or in one lane that I grew up with. So just weather it out, have your babies, take care of the home, struggle love, and then one day he gonna get right. The other lane was all men cheat on their wives and they don't ever get better, but you just stay. And it wasn't necessarily divorce is sinful. It was just, I just saw a lot of people around me miserable and married. Growing up, like, I didn't see happiness in being a woman. I didn't see happiness in being a wife. I didn't see happiness in being a mother. So for a long period of time, I didn't want to have kids. So then I had another lane of, I'm trying to think of like a real hood movie, like a Bonnie and Clyde type deal, where some type of event happens and
Like
it brings
Baby boy.
Not maybe not baby boy.
Like set it off and you Cleo.
Let me give a better example. Give me a moment. But like something. What's the movie with Tyrese and I think not
Megan Good.
Who?
You talk about Megan Good, Deep, where he's selling clothes.
Like something happens that didn't, like, we just two victims and we got to come together and survive and follow. So those were like the three lanes that I had growing up. And so because we had that one thing that brought us together, that was going to be like, that was like my fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like dysfunctional. So when I went to college, I met someone who was my rebound. I didn't really like him at first. He was my rebound. But we had, like Amber said, that fairy tale. We met on the yard. We both agreed. We had an amazing first date. All this stuff happened. And it was like, okay, I guess it's who I'm going to be with. Like, I always felt like nobody fell in love with a person. It was just like, we're going to do this thing. Like, I didn't realize until I moved to Dallas that people actually loved each other before they got married. So sex really wasn't a positive conversation for me either, because there were some events that happened around me, and I was always accused of having sex, and I wasn't. Like, I may have liked a boy, and I've always had male friends growing up, but I ain't like them knuckleheads like that. And so I had like a lot of restrictions, not even from a biblical Christian, just because of other things that were happening around me.
When you said the struggle of, I was just having a conversation with my best friend earlier today, because I was listening to Beyonce Ring the Alarm. Yeah. And I started, but I was listening to it now. I wasn't just singing. And she was like, if I lose, she gonna take everything I own and she gonna profit what I lost and all of this. And the value or her value wrapped up in that relation. You know what I'm saying? Like if this other woman, then it started making me think about like the Issa and Condola, whatever the girl name is, and the boy. And people are like, listen, he the same dude, he just with a new chick. So, you know what I'm saying? Like she's not winning what you lost. You know what I'm saying? You didn't teach him for her all of that other stuff. Like, I don't know, it just made me think about the messaging we got as children, or, you know, what songs were hot. Like he's mine because we're still fighting over it was just, I don't know, I was like, we had some toxic music, man. It's all about struggle, love, everything was about struggle, love.
I dated someone and we broke up and he was like a good ass man to the next shit, but so that happens in real life. I don't know the percentage rate of that, but that does happen.
And if they don't grow and learn, I'm saying that it wasn't you. Like he could have been that for you. He didn't want to, or he would have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like we gotta not look like we set him up for the next. He just decided somebody else was worth it, as bad as that sounds.
Right. And I think that goes back to the type of again, packaging conversations we've had with our parents. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder, and this is just general, this isn't necessarily related to my family. I mean, like I had an uncle, this is related to my family. I had an uncle who would give me these one-offs. Love my uncle. Apparently nobody else in my family really cared for this uncle, but love this uncle. And he would give me like, man, don't ever date a broke dude.
That's my uncle.
He didn't say dude, you know, he said knacker. But if he can't do this, don't get, you know, whatever. So a lot of but my uncle placed value in taking care of his family. Mm-hmm. You know, even though he was doing what he did and everybody knew, it's kind of like he was going to bring money home.
Yeah. So. I said, like you, it was my uncle who would sit and kind of give us the real deal. I'll never forget, you know, I think we were like maybe 10 or 12, and he was like, girls, don't grow up to be no silly hoes. And I sat and I was like, what is he talking about? He was like, just, you don't understand me now, but I'll grow up and be ain't nothing worse than a silly hoe. And I was like, okay. Then I grew up and I was like, oh, that's what uncle meant, you know? So yeah, it was my uncle and my aunt, to be honest, who started keeping it real and having conversations that needed to be had with me.
My uncle was the first person that taught me, I heard the phrase that said, a man can sleep with 100 women and be a hero, and a woman can sleep with one man and be a hoe. And he literally had a conversation with me. But my uncle taught me about money. He taught me, but it's funny because indirectly I saw his relationships, mm-hmm. and the bad, the good, the drama, all of it. And that I would say he and what he did, how he relationships shaped a lot of my mind frames about monogamy, non-monogamy, etc. Which is ironic out of all the people in my life. But go ahead, Amber. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You sure? Because I'm going to go to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are 3 things, because 3 is my lucky number. What are 3 things that you would tell your younger self based off the information you know now regarding sex?
Oh, man. Whew. My younger self?
Yes.
It's okay to have sex for pleasure. It's not always for procreation. Get to know, read more, talk to more older women, get some older women mentors, to have open conversations in regards to your body, in regards to, you know, to those health class related issues, you know, that they didn't really go, you know, into depth about. And then do your own research when it comes to what you learn in church regarding sex. Don't just take everything said at face value and as always right.
I think I kind of said that my mother and father, we are all very, I guess you can say close because we talk about stuff. So they didn't give me messaging like you can't or shouldn't do that. Like my mother talked about sex before marriage. It was more like make sure that you care about that person. It wasn't this, like the confines of that the church had put on it. She was real with us about the fact that you're gonna love somebody before you love your husband. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And
why wasn't this
All right,
Veronica
that was
about
just
right?
profound right there. I'm
Right.
sorry.
well,
That was
like she and even when it came to my dad was always more like, if you respect yourself, you know what I'm saying, and it'll show basically. But I will say the things that he also said, because the things I guess that I would tell myself are the exact same things that they told me. I guess I'm saying I wouldn't go back and change nothing that I would tell myself would change anything, because the way my parents brought these things to me was very natural and human. And it probably is one of the reasons that I studied sexuality in college, because it was allowed to be a part of who I am. And so I don't know, I wouldn't have gone back and needed to tell myself. I think a lot of women have to learn that. But like my parents allowed for that to be whoever it is, whatever it is, to love however, to whatever. My dad did say any man that don't come home at night got somewhere else to stay. So that part was you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, dropping words, Mac. And I would say, wow, I would say, girl, you got daddy issues. That's what I would say. Like, for instance, my dad didn't talk to other people for the most part when I was in his presence. Like, like when car phones were a thing and like they actually had to stay in the car, he would say, I'm with my daughter, I'll call you back. And so that's the level of dedication that I thought, every other man that came into my life needed to have as well. So okay. I would slow down and be like, girl, your daddy might be Superman, but these dudes out here is not Spider-Man. Like, just, you may have to get Peter Parker. Calm down, So, yeah.
There's anything that I can go back and tell myself. I would, my 2004, 2011 period was I need to write a memoir that will be published after my death. But
Lord.
But I think I will go back and tell my younger self that it's okay to explore. You don't have to be confined to what society says. Just make sure you're safe. You may change your mind on ish, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily like in the midst of it or anything like that, but on what you like, what you don't like. And if you don't want to love these hoes, don't love these. Okay. Let me focus. But no,
and tell yourself that them hoes ain't loyal.
That's real.
Well, I don't really have that issue. My thing was I had a 90-day rule, so I wasn't really. Once I moved to Dallas, it was like I ain't really messing with this dude past 90 days. And it got to the point to where I put their expiration date in my calendar in my phone, and I had a notification like a week before, whatever. Then it just became like. Because I was focused when I moved to Dallas. I was trying to, get out the house. And I think that I would teach myself balance. Because I think we as Black women, as in general, from something I consistently hear, is that books are for boys, get your coins, don't worry about a relationship, and all this other stuff. And when if you decide later on in life to get married and have a kid, it's like you got to be cool with that, because I kicked it a lot. So I think those are the things I will go back and tell my younger self.
Girl, you scared me with that 90-day rule thing. I thought you was gonna bring out that them Harvey tips. I was about to be like, oh Lord Jesus.
Next, we're not even gonna go into a whole Black man trying to police how Black women act when just write a book for you and your friends, not for me and mine.
Yeah, it wasn't even like that. I just didn't want to develop feelings for nobody, because I had went back to school. I was getting my coins where I had like 3 or 4 jobs. I was a Jamaican, not a Haitian back then. So, yeah. So let's move on to the bullshit part. The bullshit part.
Wait. Wardrobe change for bullshit.
Okay, get the lips popping.
Okay, it's clear over here.
You're gonna get the same color I had at the beginning of the show.
It's clear over here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm changing every time it's time to go to the exclamation.
So So I got to pause for dramatic
See,
effect.
she's smiling. I don't trust nothing that's gonna happen. I don't trust nothing that's gonna
When we were younger, we had all these games we played. So there's a couple games I want to play, but it's virtual and didn't really, transfer easily. So I'm going to give you all a person, an entertainer, actor, famous person, and you have to say if you would smash or pass on them.
Okay. Okay.
Are you ready?
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
Morris Chestnut.
Smash.
What year?
Have a bag? Well, I get okay after the
after
Ernest Green story. After the Ernest Green.
What?
After the Ernest Green story.
No. I'm not gonna go until he was what character is that?
Ricky.
No, ew.
That was around the Ernest Green story. So
no, that's what I'm saying. Whatever he was doing, maybe 2000
Best Man? You talking about Best Man?
There you go. Yes.
So after the Ernest Green story.
Oh, well, I thought you meant like right after. Like
no, like
my bad.
But see, I'm with him because he was in that Patti LaBelle show, Up All Night.
Oh, yes, he was.
See?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
See?
I smash him too because I love me a good chocolate man, even though
Yeah, so that's when I had my crush. I was like, he's sexy.
Boris
Cujo.
Yes.
I don't even feel like I'm going past just because I don't feel like fighting Nicole because I will.
He just don't do it for me, like pass.
He looks like an average dude. I mean, he's handsome, don't get me wrong, but he looks like somebody I could meet off the street and date.
He is a handsome guy, but he doesn't have presence.
He does.
When he starts talking to you in German.
Then he gonna be presentless and talking in the language I don't understand. He's still uninteresting. And now you're just uninteresting in a different language.
Dennis from Allstate.
Huh?
No, you talking about Whitney Houston boyfriend? Nope.
The dude from Love and Basketball. Nah, pass.
That's the dude from Waiting to
Exhale. Basketball. He was Q's dad.
He was the daddy in Love and Basketball.
I thought he was the okay, fine. Pass.
I get that. President Barack Obama.
I plead the 6th, the 5th, the 4th. I can never ever allow Michelle to my bestie that we're gonna be one day to see me say these things about her fine, educated husband.
Pass.
Leo, that's all I'm gonna say. Leo.
Pass. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, no.
No. Give him to somebody. Give him back the hoops.
I smash it. Jay-Z.
Twice on Sundays. Just so he could say big words.
I don't find him.
Jill Scott.
Who?
Jill Scott.
What year?
Now.
She's so pretty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
She just can't sing to me. I mean, she can sing, but she just can't sing to me.
Poetry. Just recite some poetry.
Right.
Yeah.
And I learned big words.
T.I.
Nope. He too hot up for me.
Before
he's not even
before he put him in Tiny's life on that reality show, and I got to see all the misogyny. Yes.
So like 2000s T.I.
Yeah, so like 2000s before that.
When he started mispronouncing words, I think that happened before the show. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought you was smart. Because today how you pronounce that word. Janet Jackson, my birthday twin.
Of course.
Just for bragging rights. Just for bragging. Like, and I'm gonna tell random people when I meet them. Hello, my name is Amber. By the way, like yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to Velvet Rope today. Yes, ma'am.
James Earl Jones.
In his younger days, absolutely. In his younger days, absolutely. That man was fine.
I ain't gonna lie.
Voice?
I cuddle with Mufasa.
Younger James Earl Jones, yes. That voice, yeah.
Again, that's why I'm gonna just cuddle with Mufasa.
Killer Mike.
No.
David Banner.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, yes. Absolutely, he can have it.
Amber, you good over there?
That's an educated man. Something about men that can read with and say like polysyllabic words. It's just, it's interesting.
And
What's
still
the
tell
other
me to
boy
get
name?
down on the flow.
And yes, and still say
Get down on the flow.
with authority, with the authority to say, yeah.
So I'm gonna end the game because I feel like you all may need some private moments. So we're gonna go.
Let's keep going. Can we keep going?
I'm just like,
you got one more?
Oh my God, we can pick a million. Michael Ealy. Y'all disrespect. I'm gonna go. I'm like SpongeBob right now. I'm out.
Oh, I'm gonna own something because I want anyone.
You're a hater on the light skin.
I'm not a hater. I do have some colorism issues. I don't prefer light skinned men. And I think it's because growing up, most of the men in my family were light skinned with green or blue eyes, and they were.
But see, that's different. Light skinned men with green eyes, we all know. Like that's just different.
They weren't crazy. They were just Papa's was Rolling Stone-ish.
Okay.
We really had those issues, like all these outside kids. But probably shouldn't have said that on live, but here we are.
And this is why it's authentic. It's an authentic space.
So I think it's because of that. I mean, I don't think that they necessarily all men cheat. I don't think that, but I just think that that's an association I hadn't gotten over. But he's one of them. And then he's skinny. Like me, a good cornbread fed, tractor driving, steak and potatoes. Even though I don't eat beef, type of man.
I
can't. Who else?
Trey Songz.
Yeah. Who?
Trey Songz.
No, not my type.
Rihanna.
She's light skinned.
My Pisces sis. Yeah, absolutely.
Sharon Neal.
Who?
Tyler Perry, the girl from the Tyler Perry movies.
Oh, I didn't hear the name. Wait, which
Sharon
one
Neal.
Tyler Perry movies? Cause who did you say?
Sharon Neal. The one on Why Did I Get Married? She was the one that he said she be doing drive-bys with their kids. She be working all the time. Okay. Meg Thee Stallion.
Wait, was she the one that Marcus was cheating with?
No, she was the one when they were at the thing. She was married to Tyler Perry. There.
Oh, she's pretty. But no.
Sharon Neal, yeah. Okay.
Y'all ain't got no white boy crushes?
Bubba Sparks.
Who?
I can see that.
No, I'm just throwing the name out there. I'm not saying I was you with Bubba Sparks. I just threw the name out there.
Oh, okay.
Well, you threw it out there. We just gonna leave it. We don't like when you threw it. We not gonna even catch it.
I mean, everybody out here. I guess technically he's Black. Sean King.
No, I don't.
I still got to submit his application to the Black delegation for membership intake.
Yeah,
Justin Timberlake.
JC was my baby. Still my best. Still my.
Paul Wall.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey.
Of course. Oh, yes. Matthew is sexy.
What's old boy? He played in Independence Day.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, sometimes.
He's cute. He's sexy.
The scientist dude?
No, yeah, the one from Independence Day. The black hair.
And you said you like. He's an actual scientist, Amber. You said you like smart men. Amber, come back to us.
Amber, come back.
I felt disrespected.
I said sometimes, depending on what angle. I don't know. The dude that does all the dancing that was in Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I don't really like how comfortable he is with that role.
All right.
But I like his vulnerability when he talks about mental health. How about that?
Yes. What's the football player? I had a little white boy.
We is not gonna name every y'all ain't gonna have us.
I'm not really into white men like that, so I'm just throwing out people to see what y'all like. So
all right, we could that was fun.
I told you I like chocolate men with beards that connect, that drive tractors, that's cornbread fed.
Like you're a good country boy.
I said, even though I don't date, that doesn't seem to be the last 20 people I dated, but that's what the heck I like.
Last 20.
Yeah.
Say what, Amber?
I said not the last 20.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I dated a chocolate cornbread man.
They are beautiful to look at.
So if we don't have any more people to throw out there, coworkers, you more than welcome to judge Amber and Isis's taste. I'm gonna watch you judge them. So let's move on to the last segment. We get to shout out our Black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
That we support. I would like to shout out M&M Workshop, which can be found on Facebook with the same name, and mnmworkshop.com. Marlon is a good friend of mine. He makes handmade pens. They're made out of wood, metals, glass, etc. Like you'll think, oh, a handmade pen, but when you go to his social media and his website, you can see how dope they are. Black-owned business. Shout out.
I hope we can put it in the link to the thing because I love a good homemade pen, like for real. So
okay.
Yeah. I'm going to shout out Kim Leverett at A Kick Above. Even through the pandemic, she's been online giving workouts on her Facebook page. So check out A Kick Above, Kim Leverett. So go show her some love.
I'm going to shout out a wonderful, amazing young woman from the ever so pretty Epsilon Phi chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated at LS Hair Collection. Like, I only get hair from here now. Go check it out on Facebook. Check it out on Instagram. It is hair that is from the bedroom to the boardroom, baby. It is the bomb at all times. Yes.
All right.
So where can they find us?
All right, ladies and gents and in between, check us out on all platforms. So you can find us if you got Apple, you can find us there. Spotify, SoundCloud, and then on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can find us at Business and Bullshit. So take out the exclamation mark and you'll be able to locate us.
And
subscribe.
After you find us, send us to somebody you know. Send us to 5 people.
Yes.
Don't keep it all for yourself.
Yes. And bring a friend.
Girl magic for everyone.
Yes.
One of those jobs that you can bring your friends.
Yeah. There you go. Tell everybody in the break room.
Yeah. Share the link.
Mm-hmm.
So go subscribe. Leave us a review.
So we will keep you updated on next week's show through our social media accounts. So we want to thank each coworker for tuning in to this pre-recorded video, and we hope to see you next week live.
Very much
Thank
so.
y'all. Thanks, coworkers.
And as always, thank you for tuning in to Business and Bullshit. 3 women,
3 perspectives.
1 podcast. Good night.